Hand blenders can be handy. They can puree, whip, chop, and generally make kitchen tasks easier. I'm Erin from Tech Gadgets Canada, and I like having an Immersion blender, but I got to wondering if you need an expensive name brand model or if a budget version would do just as good a job.
I recently picked up the Amazon Basics multi-speed immersion hand blender to test out. At about $35 US, it is crazy low priced, so I wanted to see if it's really any good. I'll tell you what you get, how well it works, what the parts work best for, and if I can recommend it for you. So what's in the box? There's the motor handle and main immersion blender attachment, plus you also get a whisk. There's a separate chopper bowl, kind of like a mini food processor, which is powered by the motor handle. The accessories consist of a beaker that can hold about 1 liter of fluid, but you really can only fill it part way to avoid splashing. The hand blender is corded and does need to be plugged in to operate. The power cord for this unit is about 6 feet long, so you should be able to use it pretty much anywhere you need it in the kitchen.
I was interested in this hand blender because it's very well rated for the price with very few negatives from buyers. So let's take a look at what you get with this and how all the parts work.
This mixer is about 16 inches in height with the blending attachment on. The hand grip has 2 buttons here, a simple power on-off and a turbo button for high-speed operations. On the top there is a dial to determine the blending speed. Now, I will say this dial configuration means you can't really adjust the speed while it's in use. You need one hand to operate the blender and the other to hold your bowl or beaker, so it's not really possible, so you need to stop to make adjustments. When it comes to that main blending attachment, you can use it to mix or blend soups, milkshakes, smoothies, dressings. You can make hummus or reintegrate peanut butter, or even to make frozen dog popsicles like I'm doing here. When I used it on an herby dressing, it actually created a really nice, smooth, finished product. Similarly, on a thick peanut sauce, it did a great job without me having to endlessly whisk my sauce. I will make note here, though, that the sticky sauce got pretty stuck up in the immersion cup end. The blender attachment is quite domed, and it's really hard to get in there to clean stuff out. With most hand blenders, you can fill a cup with warm soapy water to clean the attachments easily, but in this case, with a really sticky sauce, it wasn't quite enough.
Since the outer diameter of this blade is under 2.5 inches, you can actually fit this hand blender in most cups or mugs and certainly in pots or pans. Unlike some other hand blenders, there's no blade guard here, so you will need to take care to avoid scratching any pots or pans you put it in. If you're using a softer plastic bowl, you'll need to be careful that you're not placing the blades against the plastic itself. I will also note that the edges of this blending unit cup, I guess you could call it, they're quite thin metal, so it does make them quite sharp. So I do think there is maybe a higher likelihood that you might scratch your pots and pans or your bowls using this blender.
The mini chopper is handy for making dips or anything you want to keep contained. I tried it on a variety of dressings, including a Caesar with anchovy fillets, and it was able to incorporate everything smoothly. I will note the blade and lid assembly sometimes don't fit together easily on their own. Because the blade kind of sits on a small spring and pin, it's held down with the pressure of the lid, and it can sometimes be a bit awkward to get it seated. The chopper is also ideal for things like chopping or grinding more rigid food like nuts or hard cheeses, and it makes really quick work of veggies like onions and peppers for omelets or recipes. The Amazon Basics hand blender kit also comes with a whisk that you can use for getting air into whipping cream, eggs, or anything else, and I can definitely say this is a lot faster and easier than doing it by hand. The hand blender was really easy to use and easy to clean up, and all the parts except for the motor are dishwasher safe.
Notably, Amazon recommends not exceeding 2 minutes of use with a resting period of 2 minutes in between. While I'm a bit surprised by this, I can't think of a time when I actually needed to blend something for longer than 2 minutes, so it's probably not an issue. Overall, this is a great budget hand blender kit. It has all the attachments you'll need for many common kitchen tasks. It's effective and efficient, and there wasn't much it couldn't handle. Downsides? Well, there's no pan guard, so you do need to be careful with scratching. And the very domed end of the immersion attachment here can be a bit hard to get clean. The chopper bowl can also be difficult to seat cleanly, but once you get used to it, it's not a huge deal. Bottom line here, if you're looking for a very inexpensive hand blender kit, this is a solid pick, and even its downsides don't really detract from it too much. It sells for an absurdly low $35 US. If you want to read this review or reference any of what I've talked about here, head over to techgadgetscanada.com for a full write-up. There you can ask me any questions you have. You can also post them here in comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Erin. Until the next time, you can find me on either Twitter or Instagram. I'm at ErinLYYC. You can also always catch me on Facebook at facebook.com/TechGadgetsCanada.